The Holy Gospel according to Mark.
Glory to you, O Lord.
As Jesus taught, he said, "Beware of the scribes who like to walk around in long robes and be greeted with respect in the marketplaces, and to have the best seats in the synagogues and places of honor at banquets. They devour widows' houses, and for the sake of appearance, say long prayers. They will receive the greater condemnation." He sat down opposite the treasury and watched the crowd putting money into the treasury. Many rich people put in large sums. A poor widow came and put in 2 small copper coins, which are worth a penny. Then he called his disciples and said to them, "Truly I tell you, this poor widow has put in more than all those who are contributing to the treasury. For all of them have contributed out of their abundance, but she, out of her poverty, has put in everything she had, all she had to live on." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, O Christ.
You may be seated. How often have you seen a penny on the ground and kept walking because it was just a penny?
Never.
Some of us have, I'm sure. Maybe only a quarter gets you to stop and pick it up. Or maybe coins don't even seem significant enough to stop at all. In college, I once stopped to pick up a coin, a quarter, I believe. And I'm going to use a word that some people don't like so much, but it had poop on the other side. I kid you not. I was certainly grossed out and luckily just about a block from home. I don't remember what I did with the coin. I think I threw it on the ground and wiped my hand on the grass. But I do remember finding out later that this was apparently a trend going on around campus that people were doing with coins. Not nice. People purposefully putting feces on them and then placing them on the sidewalks to try to get people to pick them up is disgusting, I tell you. It has made me more cautious when I bend over to pick up a coin on the ground. But I still do. The coins that we sometimes pass over makes me think of what would have come of those coins. How could they have been invested and grown into something bigger, something life-changing, maybe even for ministry to the world? The gospel story today of the widow's mite, that is often called, might make you gloss over a bit because you've probably heard it before. But I'm not going to preach about how you should be giving everything to the church. And that isn't actually the point of the story either. I am going to talk about how Jesus was finishing out a lesson about God turning the world on its head. How the scribes, that we might have even forgotten are part of this story at all, are the part of the problem here. That the powers and principalities of the world do not have the final say. That's what Jesus was teaching us. God is our ultimate ruler, our ultimate teacher of divine love, of grace, and of generosity. And God sent Jesus to provide us with countless teachings on how to live our lives so that we reflect God day in and day out. That's not reflected by putting poop on coins, just to clarify. Not true. One piece of information that's important to know from understanding the gospel reading a little more is that the scribes were one of the people in that day determining what happened to the family estate of a widow when the husband died. They could choose to give it maybe to the sons, they could keep it for themselves, or allow the widow to be supported and financially secure. And we know that the last option did not occur regularly, because widows were one of the most marginalized communities in the Bible. They didn't have any money, they were women, and they were often hopeless and unsure of what was to come after their husband died. Not just because of grief, but also because they didn't know how they were going to be able to survive, knowing the likelihood that everything was going So here comes Jesus, telling this story to help everyone see the injustice that exists and how we are to respect and honor the widow for the continued generosity that she has, despite all that has been done to her. Jesus is teaching that it's not about how we say we are going to behave. It's our actions that matter. The scribes walk around so royally, kind of ironically, in religious garb, showing off how awesome they are and their long prayers and how righteous they are, when in actuality they aren't living out the religious values that they've been taught their whole lives. I think so often that this gospel has been told in a way that we are to consider ourselves like the widow and relate to her generosity and then give more, right? And while certainly I think that's true for some of us, at some point or another, we all have been like the scribes. And it is important as people that are Christians, that have our confession and forgiveness every week, that we come before God in humility. How often do we think we are in the right to then find out new information, but yet keep chugging along, ignoring all that we've learned? Our God is a God of love, of peace, of justice, a God of kindness and hope and forgiveness. Our God forgives us when we cause pain or when we use our religion to show how great we are. And our God continually seeks to build a relationship with us so that we can be more open to growth and to learning from our ways. None of us is perfect. Just like the scribes, none of us are perfect. We all have room to grow. We all have room to grow and change. And God asks us to follow in the ways of Jesus so that we might know the right way to go. May it be so. Amen.